Hello and welcome to South Asia Today, a show that provides you the glimpses of South Asia. I'm your host Shivangi Mishra. Let's begin with the headlines first. India, a new beacon of hope for the world. Illegally occupied territory of Gilgit-Baltistan reeling under high inflation. And exhibition cum seed mela organized in Shalimar University of Srinagar. Let's begin the show. What is needed in our current global climate, rife with crisis and polarization? Who should countries who are grappling with social, political or economic hurdles look to for help and support? The answer, a leader. Another question that arises is who, given the volatile nature of the current global geopolitical state, checks all the boxes that is required of a leader. Some of the most influential people around the world have all pointed in one direction, India, the living embodiment of all the virtues that characterize a leader. Join us today as we make the case that India is the only country in the world that can bridge the divide in the increasingly hostile world.
The United Nations, with unanimous Indo-Pacific support, appointed India as the non-permanent member to the UN Security Council for the 8th time in 2021. This is an honor, no doubt. However, why was India, the second most populous country with increasingly bright economic prospects, not on the permanent UNSC table? Why has a select group denied and is continuing to deny India her fair share of representation? The course that followed India's appointment has been even more significant. India, adhering to her pro-people, pro-world stance, highlighted and pursued issues that previous UNSC compositions had largely remained insensitive to. From a standalone comprehensive discussion on maritime security, to a resolution on war-torn Taliban-ruled Afghanistan, to food security and human rights of all those who have been rendered dispossessed in Syria and Yemen, India has ensured that the world discussed and deliberated on what matters the most. India, also known as the pharmacy of the world, in spite of being self-sufficient in manufacturing and transportation of medicines and vaccines, made concerted efforts to ensure patent waiver on vaccines. India has also been equally proactive in immunizing the world, as it was in administering vaccine doses to its own people.
India was, as always, world's pharmacist. I have found that India reached not only to the neighborhood, but also as far as Latin America and the Caribbean and the Pacific.
From assisting the most deprived African countries during the COVID crisis, to providing both money and material to economically collapsing Afghanistan, India has always set aside politics for people. It is critical to note that India has engaged in these acts despite being aware of the fact that she will not be reciprocated favorably in some cases. There were apprehensions within power corridors, and in fact, outright opposition from some quarters among the masses when India decided to launch relief and rescue efforts for Turkey in the aftermath of the massive earthquake last month. Turkey, in flagrant violation of the UN position and disregard to Indian sovereignty, has time and time again sided with terrorism promoter Pakistan on several platforms. This, however, didn't stop India from being the first responder when the crisis descended upon the nation. Turkey expectedly took an anti-India position within weeks of receiving Indian help on a global platform. However, nowhere does this imply that India will not help the country in the future. Because this is what India does. This is what a leader does. India does not abandon her values for short-term gratification, competitive advantage, or dirty political gains. Unless provoked, India, despite having one of the largest and most powerful set of armed forces, has never flexed its military muscles. India's smaller neighbors have all benefited from India's friendly outreach gestures. India has, on many occasions, come to the rescue of its economically dwindling neighbors. Sri Lanka, which has been affected by its worst economic crisis in 7 decades, was supported with over 3.8 billion USD of packages, including credit lines, deferred import payments, and currency swaps between the period of January of 2022 and July of 2022 alone. India came to Sri Lanka's rescue when it was going through its worst economic phase ever. India also recently set aside 24.5 million USD for war-torn Afghanistan. As per the government statement provided in Lok Sabha, the lower house of Indian Parliament, as many as 37 lines of credit worth 14.27 billion USD have been provided to 5 of India's neighboring nations. More and more countries prefer reaching out to India for economic assistance, as Indian help doesn't come with any strings attached, unlike Chinese assistance. India's economic rise, coupled with her deft, people-friendly diplomacy, have made one clear statement. India is not only extremely powerful, but also increasingly trusted by all.
The progress of India in these last years has been remarkable and extraordinary, and I think the position of India now, this is again my view as an outsider, is potentially more powerful than it's ever been.
At a time when she attained the momentum needed for her rapid industrialization, India also agreed to net zero, a global campaign for minimizing carbon emissions until zero for the greater interests of the global good. Many of the world's greatest economies industrialize with no such commitment to environmental protection goals. India's commitment comes at a time when many global bodies and alliances are increasingly being questioned for their trustworthiness and transparency. India has proven that it will not cave in to foreign pressure, especially Western pressure. India, while always maintaining a people-first policy, has shown that it will draw lines when they need to be drawn. No amount of prime time or op-ed pressure could force India into altering her position on the Russia-Ukraine war. In fact, both the warring sides, on different occasions, have urged the global community to incorporate an Indian presence at the highest level of decision-making.
Runaway inflation, food shortage and the apathetic attitude of the Gilgit-Baltistan government have collectively pulled the people of the region in a deep state of poverty. The residents are finding it hard to make it ends meet as the prices of petrol and other basic commodities skyrocketed in the illegally occupied territory of Gilgit-Baltistan. We have a report.
Gilgit-Baltistan is in the grip of acute poverty. The residents are finding it hard to even survive ever since hyperinflation struck the illegally occupied region. The prices of basic needs such as petrol, wheat, and other essential commodities have spiraled out of control. The people in the region blame the apathetic government in Gilgit-Baltistan for not taking any step to curb inflation.
महंगाई ने गरीब जो तबका है उसका तो जीना मुहाल करके रख दिया है। इस वक्त ज़िला गदर के अंदर दूर दराज के जो इलाके हैं वहाँ पर जो गरीब तबका है वो मुकम्मल तौर पर परेशान है, डिप्रेशन का शिकार हो गए हैं लोग इस महंगाई की वजह से। तो हुकूमत को चाहिए, ज़िला इंतज़ामिया को चाहिए कि इस खुद साख्ता जो महंगाई है इस पर काबू पाए। बाकी तो हुकूमत आए रोज़ महंगाई में इजाफा करता जा रहा है।
The labor class of the region that has been living on daily wages is out of work and forced to survive in penury. Owing to inflation, contractors in Gilgit-Baltistan too are tight-handed in absence of any new infrastructure project.
हर बंदे की जेब इस वक्त खाली है, ना ही कोई तरक्याती काम हो रहा है, ना ही ठेकेदार बरादरी के पास पैसे हैं, वो भी महंगाई का रोना रोते हैं, बिल पास नहीं होने का रोना रोते हैं। तो इसकी वजह से जो आम लेबर है उसको तो मजदूरी ही नहीं मिल रही, कहीं पर वो काम ही नहीं मिल रहा उनको। जो बंदा दिन को दिहाड़ी कमा के रात को अपने बच्चों के पेट पालता है, वो तो मुकम्मल तौर पर इस वक्त खाली हो चुका है, परेशान हो चुका है। जिसके पास रात को खाने के लिए 2 वक्त के लिए रोटी के पैसे नहीं हैं लोगों के पास।
Massive anti-government protests are erupting all across the illegally occupied territory against inflation. The economically crumbled Pakistan is, however, a mute spectator in the scenario where its illicit policies and nefarious schemes have yet again failed to appeal masses in the region.
Agriculture is the backbone of Jammu and Kashmir's economy. There are a number of centrally sponsored schemes that help in promoting farming and its branches, such as horticulture, floriculture, fisheries and others. Moving on the same lines, a mega exhibition cum seed mela was recently organized at the Shalimar University in Srinagar city of Jammu and Kashmir.
High-yielding variety of seeds are seeds of improved quality and are a better option for surplus and healthy production of crops. As farming is the backbone of Jammu and Kashmir's economy, authorities keep on taking a number of steps to provide better quality of seeds along with latest farming equipment to boost farming activities in the Union Territory. Moving on the same lines, a mega exhibition cum seed mela was organized at Shalimar University in Kashmir.
देखिए किसान मेला जो हर साल लगता है, इसका एक ही ऑब्जेक्टिव होता है कि फार्मर और साइंटिस्ट का एक तो पहले फेस टू फेस इंटरेक्शन होता है और जितनी भी साल भर हमने नई टेक्नोलॉजीज़ चाहे वो प्रोपेगेशन के हवाले से हो या क्वालिटी इंप्रूवमेंट के हवाले से हो, तो वो सारा हम डिस्प्ले करते हैं ताकि फार्मर को पता चले कि कहाँ पे उसकी कोताही होती है प्लांट को प्रोपेगेट करने में या प्लांट को तैयार करने में। जब भी हम किसी मेले की बात करते हैं तो वहाँ पे अवेयरनेस ही जनरेट होती है। जैसे आप अभी हमारे डिस्प्ले पे देखते हैं तो हमारे पास इस टाइम मोर देन 50 वैरायटीज़ हमारी एप्पल की है, इसी तरह वॉलनट की 50 वैरायटीज़, इस तरह आमंड की वैरायटीज़ है। तो ये सारी वैरायटीज़ इसलिए इस टाइम डिस्प्ले पे है ताकि फार्मर को पता चले कि जो रेड स्ट्रेन्स है उसके पास रेड कलर्ड वैरायटीज़ है, उसके पास ग्रीन कलर्ड वैरायटीज़ है, येलो कलर्ड वैरायटीज़ है। तो इनका अपना अपना सीज़न है। जो हम अभी तक सिर्फ अक्टूबर नवंबर में हार्वेस्टिंग करते थे, अब वो सीज़न हमने एक्सटेंड किया, राइट फ्रॉम जुलाई से लेकर अब वो नवंबर तक अपनी डिफरेंट वैरायटीज़ को हार्वेस्ट कर सकता है।
Organized by the Sher-e-Kashmiri University of Agricultural Sciences and Technology, that is SQUAST, the purpose of the exhibition was to spread awareness among farmers and growers regarding the latest seed varieties of paddy, fruits, vegetables and flowers. Stalls of different departments like Department of Agriculture, Horticulture, Floriculture, Fisheries and others were also set up with new varieties of seeds. Visitors purchased different varieties of seeds for paddy, vegetables, flowers and fruits at reasonable rates.
बहुत फ़ायदे हमारे ये 2 रोज़ा मेला हमारे लिए बहुत कारआमद है। लेकिन एक चीज़ है इसमें, अगर यहाँ पे एडवांस में लोगों को पता चले, बहुत सारे आते भी हैं, तो दूसरी बात यह है कि हमें इसमें एक सबसे बड़ा फ़ायदा यह है कि जो किसान लोग हैं वो आते हैं, उनको पता चलता है क्या चीज़ है क्या नहीं है, तो इससे किसानों में भी ये अवेयरनेस आती है कि कैसे हमें चलाना है, हमें कैसे अपने खेत वेत बनाना।
Agriculture and its subsidiaries like horticulture, floriculture, sericulture and sheep animal husbandry employ a large percentage of J&K's population. Apart from high-yielding variety of seeds, latest machinery was also available at low rates for purchase. Visitors were effusive of the efforts of the government and wanted more such exhibitions to be organized for them.
Now we take a look at some happenings in Asia in a segment called Asia Watch. North Koreans planted trees to commemorate the annual tree planting day in Pyongyang. Workers were seen planting and watering trees at the Mongyangdae Revolutionary Site. Officials say about 400 trees of 9 species were planted this year around the area. North Korea used to mark the day on April 6th. However, it has been changed to March 14th from this year upon a decision made by its parliament in October last year. In 2007, Iraqi footballers Ahmed Nasir and his teammate Ehab Karim went shopping in Baghdad for new soccer boots before the Iraqi Premier League season began. By the end of the day, Karim was dead and Nasir had no legs. A bomb, one of the many that ripped apart the capital in the years of violence after the 2003 US-led invasion, exploded as the two stopped for a sandwich, killing Karim and changed Nasir's life forever. The 2003 US-led invasion of Iraq was meant to topple a dictator who had inflicted reckless wars and economic misery on his fellow Iraqis and then to usher in a thriving democracy. Instead, Iraqis faced years of upheaval and chaos. Tens of thousands of civilians have been killed in sectarian violence which gripped the country since the invasion. Hundreds of Israeli protesters disrupted traffic around Ben Gurion Airport ahead of Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's flight to Germany, in protest of judicial changes promoted by his religious nationalist government. Demonstrators also gathered outside Netanyahu's residence in Jerusalem, trying to prevent him from reaching the airport. Netanyahu shortened a trip to Berlin scheduled for this week, according to his office, which earlier said he had held consultations on developments in national security. These statements did not specify whether the rescheduling and consultations were linked, nor did they provide further details. Netanyahu is due to depart from the German capital later on Wednesday. His nationalist religious coalition government in power since December has been beset by unprecedented protests against a planned judicial overhaul. Japanese firm NTT Communications has presented its latest achievement in the form of cooperative project called Open Hub. This project aims to solve the problems of decreasing labor power, succession of skill, and diversity of work style. Since its establishment in October 2021, Open Hub has grown to a group of 1,300 companies, 3,000 researchers, and 400 NTT staff. They are called catalysts, which loosely translates to connecting people. With the help of digital human technology, NTT Com has developed a human-like face and talking avatar called Con. She is the 401 catalyst. Her face is composed of 9 NTT Com catalysts. Her voice and motion are produced by AI. Catalyst Miss Con will be appearing at events, shows, company receptions, and clothing stores in the near future. The name is Mobile Space Statistics. On the display, a white landscape and explanation of place are reflected. Through this application, viewers can get statistics on each day's population, gender, age, and where they came from. Out of town, out of city, out of prefecture. Those data will be useful for various businesses. The fusion of virtual space and a real space is progressing. Setting the virtual glass, people can get virtual spaces information with a real image of their avatar. Its avatar will navigate to the destination of the real world. NTT Com's Open Hub hopes to accelerate cooperation beyond borders, which will contribute in building a better society. NTT Communications is a representative ICT company of Japan. Utilizing its ICT technology, Japan is now trying to solve the traffic problem. Smart cautioning light for car drivers is set up in Susono City, Shizuoka Prefecture. Susono City has developed a promotional experiment to prevent traffic accidents on frozen roads during the winter season. This facility is the first of its kind. NTT Communication is planning to promote its ventures in different countries. The Indian civilization is known for its majestic culture reflected through its festival. One such festival is that of Sharana Basveshwar Rath Jatra, which was recently celebrated in the Kalaburgi town of Karnataka. Each year, the festival attracts scores of devotees from various parts of the country who throng the ancient temple to commemorate the death anniversary of the 18th century Lingayat saint Sharana Basveshwar. Take a look.
Devotees from the southern states of Maharashtra and Andhra Pradesh dance to the beat of the drums as they throng the Sharana Basveshwar temple in Kalaburgi city of Karnataka. In a show of great devotion and religious fervour, they all gathered here for celebrating the Sharana Basveshwar Rath Yatra, a festival celebrated to mark the death anniversary of the 18th century Lingayat saint scholar Sharana Basveshwar. This was the 201st death anniversary of the saint. It is believed that Sri Sharana Basveshwar was a renowned saint of the Lingayat sect who was known for his doctrine of Dasoha, giving is earning, and Kayaka, the advancement of karma.
सोमवार रविवार के दिन शाम 6 बजे रथोत्सव हो गए। वो रथोत्सव को चालने देने के लिए शरण बसवेश्वर संस्थान के 8वें पीठाधिपति परम पूज्य डॉक्टर शरण बसवप्पा अप्पा और 9th पीठाधिपति चिरंजीव कुमार दोड्डापप्पा आके वो रथोत्सव के ग्रीन सिग्नल देके चालने दिए थे। और यहाँ के यात्रा महोत्सव के लिए सिर्फ कर्नाटक ही नहीं, आंध्र, तेलंगाना, महाराष्ट्र सभी राज्य से लोग पैदल चलाते हैं। आज के शरण बसवेश्वर का दर्शन लिए हैं।
My native is not the Gulbarga. I'm from Raichur district, Manvi Taluk, and I came here for my education. And from then I came to know that the importance of the Lord Sharana Basveshwar and the devotees coming from the different parts of the world and also different parts of the state in and around Karnataka region. And I found there is a lot of devotees coming and seeking the blessings of Lord Sharana Basveshwar and the Pithadipati, 8th Mahadasava Pithadipati Lord Pujya Sharana Basvappa Appaji and present Pithadipati, 9th Dasava Pithadipati Chiranjeev Doddappa Appaji's blessings, all showering all the dreams of all the devotees. And I could figure out that there are many people coming by walk during the 201 Yatra Mahotsav, which has been organized 2 days back.
As the Rath Yatra is one of the major religious gatherings in the southern state of Karnataka, a pool of devotees from various parts of southern India throng the festival. Devotees walk miles from their villages to reach the sprawling temple complex and partake in the annual Rath Yatra or car festival as a part of customary practice in the region. It is a customary practice in the region that the followers of the saint conduct padayatras from their villages to the temple to offer their obeisance to saint during the Gard festival. The Samadhi of the saint Sharana Basveshwar is enshrined at the center called Garbhagudi. The procession, also known as Rathotsav, is preceded by Uchchai, in which a colourfully decorated small chariot is drawn around the shrine, marking the death anniversaries of other saints and scholars.
बहुत बड़ा यात्रा महोत्सव यहाँ पर हमारे कलबुर्गी में श्री शरण बसवेश्वर महाराज जी का चल रहा है। लाखों लोग यहाँ पर ये यात्रा महोत्सव में आके लोगों का यहाँ पर आप देख सकते हैं बहुत सारे लोग आए हैं। सभी लोग शरण बसवेश्वर महाराज जी का दर्शन करने के लिए और ये यात्रा महोत्सव में यहाँ पर आया है। तो मैं इस मौके पे मैं सभी हमारे गुलबर्गा निवासियों को मैं बहुत बहुत अभिनंदन करता हूँ, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद करता हूँ और बहुत शुभकामनाएं देता हूँ शरण बसवेश्वर महाराज जी का यात्रा महोत्सव का। और शरण बसवेश्वर महाराज जी का आशीर्वाद हमारे सब पे रहना बोल के मैं प्रार्थना भी करता हूँ।
The Sharana Basveshwar temple administration had put in the necessary crowd control mechanisms in place to ensure successful conduct of the yatra. As the sky turned dark, the scene at the Yatra festival is lit up with lamps as priests perform arti with incense sticks and bells that echo through the divine environment. Devotees believe that Saint Sharana Basveshwar had foreseen his death and accordingly passed away 5 days after the holy celebrations at Dasoha Mahamanya.
मैं यहाँ अब शरण बसवेश्वर के दर्शन के लिए आई हूँ। हम जो भी मन्नतें मांगते हैं वो पूरा करने के बाद यहाँ दर्शन लेके पुनीत होते हैं। बहुत भक्त लोग यहाँ दूर दूर से आते हैं, अपने कामनाएं पूरा करने के बाद वो दर्शन लेके पुनीत हो जाते हैं।
Holding the light of devotion in their hearts, devotees throng Sharanabashweshwar temple every year to seek blessings from their Lord with hopes of getting their desires fulfilled.
It's time for me to wrap up today's episode. We'll be back next week at the same time. This is Shivangi Mishra signing off on the behalf of the entire production team of South Asia Today. Goodbye and take care.